advantage of always starting your career working with big companies like all these you see on the screen is that you get good client exposure, you get good growth opportunities. But personally suggesting to you guys, coming from a big four experience, that never stay restricted to a brand. Always stay consistent with learning. Do not just rely on a brand just because you're getting a good kickstart. I know that it will help you get a better package in the future. It will help you land a better job. But my suggestion is not that if you do not get into a big four, you opt for it, you just sit idle and not do anything and wait for a big four to convert you. That should not be the right approach. However, try your ultimate best to be a right fit for these companies, because they are nothing but looking for a candidate who is extremely confident, communicates well, and is curious to learn even more. But learning doesn't happen by spoon feeding. Learning happens when you take that edge, you take that lead, that I know I've got the resources being a part of such a big company. I've got an access to Udemy. I've got an access to, some great people from the industry. I have to make that conscious effort of going to them, planning a session or a meeting with them, talking to them. They will never come to you and tell you that, okay, let's learn. No, do not take the trainings very casually. This is just a couple of suggestions I have for all of you. Rest, get started. That's the most important step. Do not wait for the right opportunity. Make the opportunity right and just go for it. Right. Again, so I will stick to more accounting and finance related firms in India. Big fours again top the list, but again not restricted to these. BDO, RSM, GT are considered as the fifth, sixth, and the seventh largest amongst the world, and also in India. Anyone who knows what is the full form of PwC?
Price
Price Waterhouse.
water.
Right. What is KGS, guys? You can see on the fourth point I've mentioned KPMG/KGS. What is KGS? Any idea?
KPMG Global something
KPMG Global Services, right? So
services.
not to demean any one of you, right? But had you been on the career portal or had you been on the company's website, this is the first thing you see, right? Whether you want to search for a career in India or in the global services. And I was immediately expecting a response, because this is something all of you should know, despite the fact where do you want to get into. So it's also very important to understand what these companies have to offer at all, and then understand if I am well placed. So if I say, okay, do you want to enter Deloitte, you will say yes. Now the second question is, where in Deloitte? Do you know whether you want to be a part of Deloitte India, which caters to the Indian practice of audit and other financial services, or do you want to enter into the USI under taxation and other things? So the working style changes, the concepts remain the same, but a lot of things vary. So again, as I talked about my experience with EY, there is EY India, there is EY GDS, right? So where do you wish to go depends a lot on your research. That is something very fundamental and important. I'm still telling you, although these companies offer you good client exposure, work environment, personal development, future career growth, but you have to make yourself well adjusted to these. Okay, now what is BDO, RSM, GT? Anyone who knows any full form amongst these three? What is the full form of GT?
Grant Thornton.
Right, Grant Thornton. So you might have seen a lot of, vacancies being posted of these companies as well. Although the job market in India is a little stagnant at the moment, and I don't want you all to just rush on to something. Just have patience, develop on your skills. But it's not like there are no jobs at all, right? I recently switched my profile, and trust me, I've got into a good firm. One of these mentioned here. So if I can do it, trust me, all it takes is the right preparation. All it takes is the confidence to be able to say that, if you have four people in the lot, I might not be better than them, or I might not be even less than them, but no comparison. I am me, and I know what I have to offer to the firm. If you have this attitude, trust me, sooner or later you will land up somewhere great. But I also want to talk about other firms apart from these mentioned here. But before I do, you guys tell me if you have come across or you have any company in mind for a role in finance. Tell me. Any company apart from these mentioned here?
Deloitte.
Deloitte is mentioned here.
McKinsey.
Rating companies like Crisil,
Yeah.
Equity Research.
Credit rating companies. I think I already talked about it in the previous slide. So let's talk about companies that we've not brought into the perspective. Okay, we talked about the MBB players. We talked about Accenture, some IT companies. So tell me some few players in your mind that offer a role in financial advisory, valuation, modeling, etc., but are not listed here, or I have not spoken about it yet. Have you come across any profile or company like that?